Welcome to Crappens. Don't wait a week for a new video. Join our Patreon at the Crappens On Demand level for instant recap access. Link in description. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to Watch Our Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the wonderful and hilarious Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Well, hello, Ben. How are you, you little tiger?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just want to check in. Have you paid your rent this month? Because if not, Gina's going to have a real issue with you.
Oh my God, listen, you don't want another poor coming for you. I mean, Gina poor shaming somebody is fucking hilarious. What, is a pinata gonna come mock me for being too full of candy? Get the fuck out of here, Gina. Shut the fuck up.
So we are talking Orange County today. Real quickly, if you're watching Love Island USA, the season is reaching its climax this Sunday. It's the finale, and we've been recapping it over on Patreon. We've been doing these quote-unquote mini recaps, about like 20 to 30 minutes. And if you want to hear the fresh takes, go check it out on Patreon. But we will stitch together a bunch of the ones that have not been on this here feed, and we will put them up next week. But you'll probably want to hear the fresh takes from the finale and from last night's episode. So go check that out on Patreon, patreon.com/watchourcrappens. And if you forget what our Patreon link is, just go to our website, because our website's even easier to remember. That's just watchourcrappens.com. And not only do you have links to Patreon from there, but you also have access to our back catalogs. Technically, everyone has access to our back catalogs no matter where you are, but they are sprawling and huge. And if you go to our website, we have organized some of our back catalogs. So that way, if you just want to hear some vintage Orange County, Real Housewives of Orange County recaps, you can go listen season by season, or New York, Below Deck Med, New Jersey. And we're going to get other sort of series organized and backlogged in that way, or not backlogged, back cataloged in that way, and we'll announce them as they come live. But go to watchcrappens.com to go listen to your favorite episodes. That's it.
So yesterday I start watching Orange County, and it's a scene where like Heather's packing, you know, because her new house is so stressful, and then Shannon and Tamara both call her separately saying, I'm on my way to meet Tamara. I'm on my way to meet Shannon. And Heather's like, oh my God, I hope they can work it out. And then they go to have this lunch, and Tamara's like, you're a batch. You never support me. And Shannon's like, I don't think you understand how hurtful you can be, Tamara. And I went through, I swear to you, half an hour of this episode. And I got to the part where Gina's like, I'm having a party. It's a pink party. But then she's too sick to have it, so Emily does it for her. And I'm like, Gina is refusing to throw another one of her lame parties and making. I was like, this is just like last season. Nothing changes. It was last season. They were showing episode 2 of last season, which my thing recorded. And I watched half of it, not even realizing it was last season. So well done, show. I've been hoodwinked.
Yeah, very nice. Well, I mean, so many things do stay the same. I mean, Orange County really is a series where there are just different kind of building blocks that they scramble. Like they build a Jenga tower out of the same building blocks. So this year, the building block is Shannon and Tamara are not friends. And Shannon and Heather are now working on their friendship. And Gina is mad at someone that she was close with last season. You know, like these are the building blocks. We have a new tower. The blocks are in a different arrangement, and it's all going to fall down by the end of the season.
Yeah, well, one thing remains solid. Gina's wardrobe. Wow. Are there
solid
rayon
as
trees?
A frock.
Like, are there rayon trees just growing in her backyard or what? I mean, I've never seen so many bad clothes on one person. It's like a... I mean, it's like a fashion show from Real Housewives of New Jersey on this episode. She's wearing, in her confessional, she's wearing a tinfoil tube top and then like a spandex mini skirt thing. And then in another, she looks like a to-go hot dog. I mean, I don't even know, like a hot dog wrapped up to go. I don't even know what you would call that.
As opposed to a sit-in order at the table, eat at the table hot dog.
Yeah, like eat half the hot dog. I'm like, can I take it to go? And they give you some foil and you just kind of wrap it up and like, you know, put it under your tube top and go home. I mean, what the hell is she doing? And, you know, the other day we were on Jeff Lewis, which, by the way, thanks for having us. Always love talking to those guys. But we were on there and we were talking about OC, and you were talking about Gina just being an asshole. We were talking about Gina being a bomb in general. And I actually felt kind of guilty because, whenever we go on Jeff Lewis, that's like it feels like it's a different thing because it's on the radio. And I don't know, I always feel meaner somehow. Like, because at least
Because
here we're
they
in our own
listen.
house.
They really listen on that. When you go to Jeff,
There's a better chance of them listening for sure. And I was like, we're mean. We're so mean. And Gina's not that bad. And like, it's not cool to be like, what has she even done, really? Well, this episode really showed us that we were correct. Gina is such a monster. She is not a good person. That is not a good person. That is a mean, mean girl.
I thought
Shame on
Gina was such an asshole this episode. Like, such an
Truly.
asshole. And, it's like, and me, I like to see both sides. I'm like Joni Mitchell. I see both sides now. And,
Trump. Trump, when he's like, yeah, there's good people on both sides. Okay. That's what you get when you do that with Gina. You're supporting terrorism.
Thank you for comparing Gina to the Charlottesville incident. But this is no, but for real though, like I really like try to put my feet in her Payless shoes. And I say to myself,
I was going to say, don't do that. They're going to sweat off your damn ankles.
I have all sorts of dye on my toes now. No, I mean, I was like, okay, if I like went out of my way and I got this girl into this house and then she's fucking up and now it's like giving me issues with my professional contacts. Yeah, I think I would definitely be annoyed. But I think, though, that if this were my friend, I don't know, like, it's like your friend's being evicted. I just think that's so much more cataclysmic for the friend than it is for you losing your contact. Like, what is stopping Gina from, like, calling up the contact and saying, like, I'm so sorry. I vouch for this person. I'm mortified. How can I make it up to you? Can I take you to dinner? Like, this is awful. Like, I just feel like that's so much more easily smoothed over. Not like Jen is any saint. Like, Jen is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, Jen does have to get her act together. But I think Gina, who has been through such hard times, who has Shannon apologizing to her midway through the episode, and Gina saying, like, now, you know what? Like, now you understand what I'm going through. But yet refusing to empathize with Jen, who's going through something very similar to what Gina went through. I just think that Gina's a total asshole for it.
It's gross. And this whole thing of like, I vouched for you. What are you talking about? You were renting a house. It's a business transaction. That's like me saying, hey, Ross Dress for Less, here's Ben. And then you buy a shirt from there and then you act like a jackass a week later. Am I supposed to go apologize to Ross? No. They're a fucking store that they sell things. And it's the same with this renter. Gina didn't do any like huge favor. She was like, give me a fucking break with that.
I guarantee the reason,
Gina, you've been a realtor for 1 year. You've got 4 sales under your belt. Shut the fuck up. Like she's coming for my career. Get out of here.
And also, she's acting like, oh, Jen is the reason why this realtor's not calling her back. I guarantee there's more to the story than that.
You have no reputation. Why would she call you back? You're like at the bottom of the hill. And by the way, good for you for starting your own business and doing all of this. I'm not shaming the work. I'm just saying like her blaming somebody else for her not getting a call back is absolute bullshit. No, everybody knows that sometimes people go through things when their husband stops paying for the bill, especially in Orange County. It's like the capital of divorce. I don't think it's the first time that someone's ex has stopped paying the mortgage and they get evicted. I mean, it probably happens every goddamn day.
And on top of that, Gina at one point says, I got her into the house. We bypassed the credit check because we just used my words. I'm like, well, whose fault is that? You're going to blame Jen for your shoddy, rental agreement that you created? Like, you should be mad at yourself, and you have to know now you don't cut corners even for your best friends because it come back to burn you. That's your fault. You're just being a bad real estate agent at that point.
Well, I would like to add, so it's also the renter person's fault because they trust Gina vouching for somebody. That girl walks in like a walking Dollar Tree is what she looks like. Why are you vouching for her credit? Like, give me a fucking bro. Why are you letting Gina vouch for somebody's credit? That's bullshit. They obviously couldn't rent this house and we're asking for too much money. Listen, Team Jen is my point.
Team Jen. And
I felt bad for 5 seconds the other day. And then I watched this episode and I was like, nope, we were right. This lady is a terrible human being. What a monster.
Yeah, I thought it was just so obnoxious. Like, I think, you know what? I'm going to put a pin in it because it's going to come up about 10 more times this episode. We should just start recapping. And I'm guaranteed by the end of the episode, we're in that coffee shop, I will be all fired up. So, to be continued on what I'm going to, when I said, I think, who knows what I think, but I'll tell you this much. She's an asshole.
Sure you haven't said it yet. Yeah, she's an a-hole.
She's an asshole. But speaking of assholes, they're all assholes on the show. Let's not also forget that they all are assholes. And we're gonna here we are back at this Balboa Beach Club, Pelican Bay, flotilla, ballroom, whatever this is. And all the assholes are gathered by the window watching Shannon and Alexis Bellino. And Alexis has just said her new famous line, "There's the door, Shannon Bador."
Yeah. And Shannon just looks into the camera like, wow, perfect. And also, I liked that they showed Shannon flicking her head like in a soap opera to look back, holding her drink, just flicking her head around. I just loved it. And so Heather goes to Alexis, which fucking Heather, of course she does. And Alexis is like, I'm trying to keep myself composed. Did you see me say, "There's the door, Shannon Bador"? It was really good, Heather. Really
And Alexis
good.
is doing this thing where she is like waving her hair back behind. She keeps on like sort of acting like she's just turned a very fast corner. She's like pivoting around. Her hair goes flying back and forth behind her, and she's like, "Oh, it's just a lot going on right now. I can't wait till I call Johnny and tell him what happened. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep myself composed." And like, "What happened?" And she literally wants to keep bringing up, only the lawsuit. And Tamara's like,
Lawsuit? I was involved in that lawsuit. Let's talk about it, huh? You want to talk shit about Shannon? Talk about Shannon, bitch.
I'm having a hard
so
time, by
to
the way,
get in
speaking
this.
over my teeth trays today. I've got my little sort of.
Take them out. What,
Okay, I'll take them out. I'm gonna take them out. I'm gonna take myself off camera because no one wants to watch me take these out of my mouth. But I feel like my words are just getting lodged in my teeth today. So BRB.
Listen, it's hard enough to talk with gay tongue, which we have because we're gay people. Mine is way bigger than Ben. I don't actually think Ben has a gay tongue. I have a gay tongue. I can't imagine having something else in my mouth. I mean, there are things in my mouth all the time, but you know what I mean, like trays. I couldn't deal with that.
I like that I hit my limit. Like I've had these things in my mouth for like 7 months now, and it was like doing a Tamara impersonation. I need to have
It's not
full
an
clarity.
easy one.
I need to have no obstructions in my mouth for this.
It's not an easy one. So Alexis is like, I am like literally shaking, Mr. Baking. Okay, Alexis. And Katie is like, I just want to be away from that, pointing at them. And Tamara's like, listen to me. This is part of my thing too, bitch. And everyone's just ignoring her, which I know is making her crazy. So Heather's like, excuse me, I am just going to excuse myself because I love you. And I also want to hear what's going on. And this is my party and she's a guest and I feel weird. Okay, so I'm going to go check on her now as well.
So she goes off to check in, and then Katie across the room is like, I want to listen in, though. Secretly, I want to listen. So then Katie talks like she's in a commercial for like Dove chocolates. Like, sometimes when it's the afternoon, I just like to treat myself. Dove chocolates by Katie. I don't know if that's actually how the Dove chocolate commercial goes, but in my
You know
mind,
how
that's
she's
they go.
talking. You know how she's talking, don't you? What you're describing is somebody who reports for golf. Here we are. We are watching Johnny J come up with his stick. He's going to hit a ball with that stick. We're going to see if it goes in. Is it going to go into the Alexis hole or the Shannon hole? Let's see. That was a birdie. That was a handicap mulligan right there. Thank you for watching.
I love golf. So,
That's my storyline. Guys, can we take a moment and just go over my personality? Okay, I don't know if you got my CV, but I am into golf. Okay, go ahead with your fight. Go ahead.
Shannon, are you okay?
Well, I'm sorry, but she started, she's, in my eyes, she started the lawsuit. She started the lawsuit in my eyes, which, by the way, I think Pamela did a wonderful job with my makeup on my eyes today. I think we should all compliment Pamela. Pamela, will you come over here? Will you accept this award for greatest eye makeup doing in the history of Orange County? Well, thank you, Shannon. That's enough. That's enough. Anyway, she started the lawsuit in my eyes. So anyone with Bellino is not my biggest fan because I lost $300,000 to the Bellinos. Huh.
I've even driven up to Taco Bell and said, you listen here, Mr. Bellino. I want my $300,000.
I can't even go to brunch because when people order Bellinis, it is just too close to the word.
Change one vowel and I'm out $300,000. So then back inside, Tamara's like,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like it's got to be very difficult to see her, like that.
and Alexis is, because of the lawsuit, she's saying, like, Shannon's probably having, it was a lot of money, Alexis. And Alexis is like, but it's hard for both of us. Do you know how difficult it is for me to see his ex-girlfriend and be in the same room? You're on her show, ma'am. You literally walked into her house and shit on the floor. Alexis is a monster. Alexis is a goddamn monster. But God damn it, she's a funny, stupid one. And I'm glad
she's a funny, stupid monster. She's like when you see like those dumb dinosaurs sometimes on movies. She's one of those. So Timber's like,
Just because Shannon and I are not in the best terms right now, I still care about her. I care about her enough that I can fool her into thinking that she can let me back in, and then I can destroy her all over again, bitch.
I can't wait to go check on Shannon so I can call her a stupid, useless human being, make her cry.
So she is saying,
Well, when Alexis finally came out and said she was dating John, I absolutely felt for Shannon. I felt it so hard. I'm such a good person.
and then it cuts to the text, and it's her proof is this text. It's like,
Hi, Shannon. I know things are not great between us because you're super stupid and selfish and mean, egotistical. Team David Bedore. But I just wanted you to know that I'm thinking about you. How stupid you are. With all these pictures of John and Alexis going on, and how hot they look, how much you're smiling, how hot John is now that you're gone. Well, anyway, hope you're doing better. Bye, bitch.
Hope you're able to read this text. Hope you're not too drunk.
So then Shannon
I
replies,
hope you enjoy your holiday season, bitch, because basically, you're the turkey. You're the turkey, bitch.
I see what you're doing right now. I see that you're trying to go right into that cooler and get some vodka, add to your Jack Coke. I see it right now. Anyway, have a happy holiday season, bitch.
So Shannon replies with a very Shannon response.
Well, thank you for your text. Looking forward to spending the holidays with my girls. Merry Christmas.
but then we get the real story. Shannon goes,
Actually, Tamara Judge not only liked the photo of Alexis and John, but she put the applause emojis as a comment.
it's 100% Tamara.
And I was like, I wrote her, I said, WTF, what are you doing? And her text back to me was, grow the fuck up. Well,
Now, to be fair, I did not realize it was an applause emoji at first. I thought it was someone who had just caught a fly in their hands, and I was like, that's exactly what Alexis Bellino did. She caught a fly with her vagina. And then I realized it was actually just applause. So it took on a new meaning.
so stupid. And then we see another text pop up on the screen, and it says,
well, I'm not sure what is going on, but I can say without a doubt that you would never, ever see me posting applause emojis to a girl that has a PR rep saying that Alexis and John have a lot in common.
Tamara's response,
Grow the fuck up, bitch. That had nothing to do with you or John. The next bleep fucking idea to call someone to talk shit about me. Think again, you drunken wino bitch.
So then Alexis comes over, Heather approaches Alexis, and she's like, well, I want, no, whatever. Alexis is like, I want this party to go good because I know it's your party. And Heather's like, oh, it's going to. Do you know how many white bread things I have to do? Later, there are questions. There's questions. Just you wait. No one's going to ruin this party. Wait till you see what I'm feeding you.
and so now there's like a wishing wall where Emily and Katie and Jen are, and Emily's like, oh, Jen, I'm gonna wish a house for you. And Jen's like, well, a house, a car, a job. And she goes, and Katie's like, oh, are you moving like a slow golf ball that's just been putted? She goes, I am. Thank you so much for asking. Gina actually helped us get the last house, and basically the kids and I got evicted. Anyway, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm going to eviction.
And Katie's like, holy shit. I thought this was for rich people. There's two of you now? And so Jen's like, yeah, I was scared to death to sit the kids down and tell them, hey, here's option A, move in with Ryan, or here's option B. Falafel? Anyone? Anybody want falafel?
So then we see a scene of her telling the kids, like, so here are your two options, option A and option, there is no other option. And so they're like, well, sure, I guess so. She's like, I would do anything for my kids, except maybe get like a 9-to-5 job. And if moving in with Ryan was going to be a detriment to the kids, I'd live in the car But I'd be like, Ryan, can I have your car? Thanks, I'm going to live in it. But I'm grateful that the kids are on board in this decision making of moving in with Ryan. Thank you so much, children. Thank you so much.
So Katie's like, yeah, I get it. That sounds terrible. She's like, yeah, it's just been a long, horrible, horrible road. Just terrible. And I hope I did the right thing. And Katie goes, you did do the right thing. I mean, it's a fresh new start. She goes, yeah, that's how I'm trying to look at it that way. Excuse me, that's my purse. I'm sorry, ma'am, you have not paid for this purse. Oh, well, okay, well, thank you very much. Keep it safe for me. Love you. Love you, purse.
Jen, why are you hoarding all those hors d'oeuvres? Oh, I'm gonna try to sell them on eBay later. Thank you so much. So then we got to, so mean. This poor lady's being evicted. So
I
then
don't do anything for my children. She's shoving like tiny little tiny little
Napkins.
bites. What are they called? When you have not the aperitif, the amuse bouche. Yeah.
Well, no, actually, jumping ahead, what cracked me up is that when they serve an amuse-bouche at this luncheon, and Heather goes, everyone, this is an amuse-bouche. It's like a gift from the chef. That is a fork. This is a knife. When you receive an amuse-bouche, now you get to understand what it's like to be Heather Dubrow at Nobu. Gifts everywhere.
This is from us to you, rich to poor people. Thank you so much for coming here. So then we see Gina and Heather and Tamara talking, and Gina's like, every time I go out of my way to be nice to a person, I get bitten in the ass by it. Yeah, when are you ever nice to a person? That was the only nice thing we've ever seen for you do for anybody on this show, and it was a business transaction that you made money off of. You made a commission off that, so stop acting like fucking, you know what? I'm too mad, and this is just a TV show, but this lady is so mean to that lady who just got evicted that we totally roasted for the last 5 minutes, but... Anyway, still, she's just so mean. It's like I need to remind myself right now just to calm down. It's not that deep, but
like
geez.
If Gina were like a Lucille Bluth asshole, it would be hilarious because she's just punching down so flagrantly that it'd be just like it'd be so awful that I would find it campy and wonderful. But she's just punching sideways, and I'm just like, I just don't have any respect for it. So
she is. I do like that because it is punching sideways. Like she thinks she's being like a Heather, like punching down, or like making a comment about being poor. That's like the first time that there's been someone literally poorer than her on the show, and I guess she's like taking it out on that person. But girl, it's like acting la-di-da. You're in the same aisle of the Walmart as me. You know what I mean? Get the fuck over yourself.
She also, don't forget, Gina was like a monster to Jen at the start of last season when she's like, I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to talk to her because she like left her family or something like that. It was something about like Jen
cheated.
Divorced. She cheated and this and that. And Gina was like really like overly invested in that. But at least she sort of had, she could say, well, you know what, I was cheated on, so it's very triggering. So at least she had that. But this is just like her being a full asshole. Like, and she's framing herself like she is so charitable. Like every time I go out of my way to be a nice person. Last time I checked, it was Heather Dubrow who gave you her goodwill leftovers, and you just were like, fuck off, Like, I feel like I see Gina on the receiving end of nice behavior and her deciding, always vilifying those people. I don't understand where she gets off saying that she's going out of her way to be a nice person.
And she's like, well, I just found out that she was evicted. And also, she's like changing her accent every 5 minutes too, which is still making me crazy. She's like, I found out she was evicted because she put it on Instagram. And then we see a video of Jen packing on Instagram. And she's like, wow, moving really sucks. Oh, sorry I said that about you moving. I didn't mean it like that. I hope you don't take it personally. I like moving sometimes. Anyway, got to take care of business. And she's like, oh, wow, I can't believe. Tamara's like, wow,
She put it on Instagram that she was evicted?
no, she didn't. She put on Instagram that she was moving. And then Gina was like, why is she moving? And it became evicted,
Yeah, I mean, like, I can understand Gina being like, what the fuck? I helped her get it at that spot, and now she's moving? Like, that's weird. And, like, I can understand her being like, this is sort of fucked up. And I can imagine, like, a tenor of annoyance that's more like, hey, like, I know you're going through a hard time, but, like, I just want you to know it's kind of a bad look for me, and it made me feel like I felt like I was not considered in this situation when I put a lot of consideration for you, and it's rubbing me the wrong way, and I just had to tell you that. Like, that should be like as far as it gets. I think Gina's allowed to be annoyed. But the fact that she's framing herself as like, I went out of my way to be so good, and this is how I'm repaid, and this is taking money off my children's table. It's like, just relax.
Holding it against somebody who just lost everything is just low down and dirty behavior. It's just disgusting fucking behavior, especially from somebody who's already been through that. You know what I mean? It's just gross. So they're still talking about that, and Gina's like, Heather's like, well, I thought Emily told me that she didn't even have a credit check because you vouched for her. And Gina goes, yeah, I'm real pissed about that. Well, so nobody should listen to Gina. Gina's not the arbiter of anyone's credit.
I don't. That was shitty work on everyone who did that deal. There should have been a credit check no matter what. And you're just mad at yourself because you were a shitty agent in that moment. So now she's saying, well, now this is starting to affect me professionally. I don't need other agents talking about the fact that I put someone in a home that didn't pay their bills. I'm like, I guarantee no one really knows about this, except now they do because you're broadcasting it on a national network.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, she keeps talking about her reputation, this and that. Who wants to work with an agent who's like, oh, yeah, I helped that person once, and now look at him. Oh, I can't believe I ever worked with that person. I mean, it's really unprofessional and gross. And are you allowed to even do that? Like, go tell somebody's personal business and about their evictions, et cetera, et cetera?
I think it's shitty. And
isn't
also,
there like
by the way,
doctor-patient privilege, like realty privilege?
Also,
I mean, what the hell?
You know what? The other thing is that, like, Gina, you're not the first real estate agent who has clients who then hit hard times and have to move or get evicted or foreclosed upon. You're acting like this is an affront to you and the entire real estate industry. Like, it happens. Shit happens. People lose their homes. Like, I just, like, her extreme lack of sympathy in this situation. I think it really comes down to the fact that Jen was basically being supported by her ex. And I think that, like, Gina has unresolved issues from last year about like Jen's relationship with her ex, the cheating, the fact that Jen was dependent on it. I think that like it's not about the eviction. It's about something deeper about Jen as a woman and how she moves with the men in her life.
Well, okay. Well, have fun with your married man at home. So, if that's the case. So, there's like a wishing well thing that they have to write wishes for people. And Shannon is like, well, should I write to Alexis? Good luck in your relationship. Utz. Yes, I'm going to write the utz at the end of it. Utz. There, I said it. Oh, that is so snarky of me. I just did it. Anyway, get my picture. That was me being snarky. Unbothered Shannon.
So then Jen goes up to Alexis to see how she's doing. And Jen's like, so I understand how you want to protect John. I'm the same way with Ryan. Alexis is like, I mean, there's not wanting to protect him. I will. He broke up with her. Okay. Who are you, by the way?
Well, I am at the wishing table now, and I hear Alexis. And you know what, Alexis? That you can lower your voice a little bit, okay? And she goes,
oh, I mean, was I raising my voice out of control or what? And she goes,
you were quite loud.
Oh, I just got scolded. Like, what is she, my mom? She's old enough to be. She's older than me. She totally could be my mom. She's like so old.
Wow, Shannon, that really hurt me to my core, Shannon Bador. It's a good rhyme. You can really lean into it, I encourage everyone to do it.
You're really old, Shannon Badolds. She'll get it later. She'll sit with that one for a while.
So Alexis has something to say about this. She tells us, no, you will not shush me, lady. Okay, I will no longer be squelched. And then we see a flashback of her being squelched by Jim Bellino, who said that wives stay at home in that famous scene. So any storm that Bador wants to create, find a new tornado, period. Okay? Well, I think... First of all, I appreciate the tie-in to Twisters in theaters now, but also it's like, hey, I know you, if you want to start a new storm, then find a new tornado. I'm not sure that makes any sense.
She's a Mad Libs of a human being. I don't even know how this person like gets through life, but here she is still not run over by something. So good for her.
If you're saying find a new tornado, that means that like you're advocating for her to create storms.
You can't.
You're advocating for new storms.
There's just too much. You can't
should
try to put logic in this.
If you want to create a new storm, your ears
gonna start bleeding.
Guess what? A low pressure front is going to come through and blow it away. Anything
Yeah.
really.
You better
Say
find a
anything.
new tornado if you want to start a storm, Shannon Bedorm. So Jen and Gina are talking. Jen's like, okay, oh hi. Yeah, I've been wanting to grab you. We should talk, right? Because I know we need to talk. Let's get together. Let's plan a lunch or something. Oh, I'm sorry. Would you rather have dinner? I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever it is, you're paying, right? Just kidding.
Thanks in
Okay,
advance.
so yeah, let's talk. And Gina's like, all right, okay. All right. This is not the time or place because I have a history of ruining Heather's parties, so I'm just gonna sit here and be rude behind Heather's back about her stupid party.
Yeah. Not today, Satan. I will not be fucking up Heather's party. Okay, not today. So now they all go.
She's just
to
mad she has someone to fight over leftovers with now.
Yeah. There's only one doggy bag left. So it's like Thunderdome.
She's getting in the way of me feeding my children. Amused bushes.
So Heather leads everyone to the table area, and everyone's like, ooh, ah, and there's like a money booth, but the money booth is filled with questions, because you step in and the questions go everywhere when you grab one, which is a very, very expensive way to, alternative to just having a hat. Just pulling something out of a hat.
Yeah, it's definitely the rich asshole way of doing this.
Why
So-
do it the cheap way when you can spend $800 on a money booth?
Yeah, exactly. And so Alexis is like, please just tell me I'm far away from Catwoman. I mean, if you're going to be a cat, start a tornado at a dog. You know what I mean? I'm serious.
Hey, Shannon, how you enjoying that tomato, new tornado? She's eating a tomato, and I told her to get a new tornado.
Yeah, Alexis is trying super hard. Bless her heart. So Heather's like, okay, you're over there. Okay, everybody. This is an amuse bouche. Poor people. Do we understand? And Katie's like, oh, come sit with me, Gina. And Gina goes, I just don't understand why everything here is not bread. Which, listen, I don't love Gina right now, but she's got a point.
But also, did you just arrive to Orange County? That's just the way it goes here. So Heather's like, hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Okay, what you have here in front of you, I'm here. You have your gift from the chef, so congratulations. The chef gave you a gift. I didn't even prepare a toast, but luckily I do have this monologue that I auditioned with to get onto Malibu Country. Back when I was growing up in Chappaqua, New York, I said I want to go to the dude ranch and learn how to ride the cows and lasso the horses. And so I did, but I wound up in Malibu. You're welcome. And am I hired yet? Thank you. That's the end of my scene.
What was that from?
That was my audition monologue for Malibu Country. Self-written. It was partially autobiographical and partially a recap of City Slickers.
Whoa. Okay, so
In lieu of a toast, it was a monologue.
I'd rather have toast. I gotta be honest. Or any kind of toast. Okay, wow. So Gina's like, wow, we're getting like a spoonful of food. It's so tiny. I guess I'm just gonna starve over here. Gina, it's an amuse-bouche, for fuck's sake. Moron.
Oh, it's not your entree.
Jesus. So let's just consider this a representation of how much you've contributed food-wise to this cast over the time that you've been on here. Jesus Christ, a little tiny pile of fingernails.
Even Dr.
Fucking
Jen
cheap
did
ass.
more than you. So Heather is like, okay, well, this is going to be a new year, fresh start kind of party. And Katie's like, 2024, we're on a diet, am I right? Anyone? Just a little golf humor in the corner here? No? Okay.
Guys, my stomach feels empty, but it might be because I've got a hole in one. Anybody get that? It was a golf joke. So if anybody needs me, I'll be over here.
Yeah. So anyway, Heather's like, over here is a question booth. You go in and you grab a question. Okay. And Jen's like, oh, well, I'll be first if there's money in there. I'm being evicted, everyone.
And Emily goes, yeah, she needs a new house. And Jen's like, yeah, how much money is in there? Which I like that Jen can like show up and make fun of herself at least, you know? So Jen's like, come on, Dubrow. You of all people could have filled that thing up with money. And Emily's like, yeah, she should just stay in there the whole time. Maybe she can get some rent money or some payment money or something. Like, there's a lot of doubt out there.
And Heather tells us, I don't think the money booth is going to fix the rent situation. I was like, damn. You know, it's
They're
just a joke.
vicious on this show. God. Like she's trying to make fun of herself and be self-deprecating. And they're like, nope, we're still going to trample her. We're still going to trample her.
I guarantee by the end of the season, we're going to see Jen dressed up in a French maid outfit, like cleaning the basement of the Dupros. Like that's the path that she's on.
So then Gina's still bitching about being hungry, and then we cut to Alexis dancing in the booth, and she's like, oh my god, guys, you are gonna die at this question. What is your friendship goal for 2024, Shannon Bedore?
She goes, I would have to say that my goal is for Shannon Bedore and I to kill all animosity that she unreasonably has and be able to move forward. And she was like, oh, wow.
Excuse me, I just nearly coughed on the entree that we just had.
That was the amuse-bouche.
Oh, well, that's good luck for me then. Oh, okay, well, that was wonderful. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you.
Oh, let me tell you whose douche is not amusing. This one in front of me. That is for sure.
So Emily's like, well, what do you say about that, Shannon? And she's like,
Well, I appreciate that. You whore. Thank you.
and Alexis is like, I literally do just want to be amicable in this group of women because I'm going to act like a Christian, okay? Because I am a Christian. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spread love.
Sure.
Super Christian-y. Super Christian coded.
I know. Let me give you some textbooks about the Crusades. So Tamara is like, she's like,
Hey, you might have to stop banging your ex-boyfriend. Did you hear that, Shannon? She was like, oh, that was a very funny joke at my expense. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any more amuse-bouches?
So then Shannon's like,
Well, I don't know that acting is Alexis's forte because you can't talk to me the way that you have so far in this event and then all of a sudden snap your finger and say you want to be my friend. It does not work like that. I will never be your friend until you decide to go against Tamara Judge, in which case I will be there laughing just like this.
Alexis Bolito's so funny. Best friends.
Until then, you're dead to me.
So then Tamara gets into this booth and really gives us a horrifying visual. She presses her hands and her face up against the glass and then starts licking it. Like, it's like, I feel like it's like a bat that like landed on a windshield as like
it's like going to an aquarium, but for like bad gums.
And Gina goes, you just got the flu. So Tamara's question is,
What'd the machine get? I'm more worried for the machine. I'm like, that's a rental. Other people are going to be standing in that.
I know. Somewhere, like Morgan from Laguna Beach is going to be renting that for a party for her kids. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, Tamara, I was just trying to make some weird call back to the show Laguna Beach. It'd be nice if those at the universe of Real Housewives of Orange County and Laguna Beach came together someday. I'm just going to put that out there. That would be really a lovely thing.
Well, they always talk about Adrena coming on to be one of the housewives on the show, but it never happens.
Yeah. What about
Bring on old Dead Eyes. I miss her.
What about Lauren, who dated Jason Waller in season 2 of Laguna Beach? Bring her on. She was always a disaster.
Well, Adrena was the Hills, to be fair, but same
Still
universe.
part of the universe.
Yeah.
I would accept it. I would accept all of the above.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so Tamara's like,
What would you like to have less of this year? How about this? How about this? Wait, everybody. Wait for it. It's a Tamara classic moment. You ready to meme, guys? Okay? I would like lots of friends to talk shit behind my back. Whoa! Paper dropped! Paper dropped! Paper dropped the paper patch.
She literally throws it behind her, and it's like, I feel like I heard like the King of Snarkasm music in the background.
So Emily's like, preach it, sister!
Emily, the chief shit talker behind people's backs.
Also, Tamara opens the whole season by being like,
Fuck Shannon Bedore. I hope she dies in the fire. I hate when people talk behind my back. Shannon's a drunk, a super dirty drunk.
I saw her in the dressing room looking left and right, left and right, left and right. Then she found the vodka and she just inserted it into her mouth and drank it like a baby batter, bitch.
So, Shannon just goes,
Oh, well, she thinks I talked behind her back.
did you talk behind her back?
She's like, no, I don't know. Maybe I did. I just need her to fucking calm down. Just calm down.
So then Heather gets her own booth question. You know, Heather is like had her own question hidden under a Rolex.
It was
and
taped.
she's like,
it was like taped against the roof of the booth. She was like, "Oh, look at this one up here." What is
hers
your
probably
favorite-
just said like, have you ever fucked anybody in a Chuck E. Cheese? And she just read it as,
Okay, here's my question. What's your favorite piece of jewelry and why? Well, of course, my favorite piece of jewelry is something that wasn't always my favorite, but it's my original engagement ring. Cue the fountains. Cue. Play Andrea Bocelli, Botticelli, and then have the fountains just start spewing out. Terry gave it to me. He said, "You're such a famous actress. Would you ever settle down with some lowly person like me?" And I said, "Probably not. I'm here for my art. How much money do you have?" I'm in. And the rest is history. For poor people, those are accounts that are written down so other poor people can learn in the future.
I hope everyone on Crappens on Demand appreciated my depiction of the Bellagio fountains in the background.
you did it
of Heather's
very well. It
monologue.
was very good. Yeah.
Odd that I requested Bocelli to sing for this, as he'll never get the pleasure of seeing the picture that I just had prepared of my original engagement ring. But he can touch it.
I know he can touch it because he lives in my basement. I've employed him. So, actually, Andrea Bocelli does have a history of emerging from basements. Remember, Yolanda? Ladies and gentlemen, Andrea Bocelli opens the door at Wally's wine bar, and the tenors and Andrea Bocelli come out of the basement.
100%. I just read that Yolanda sold, or she didn't sell it because it wasn't her house
selling
anymore. But the house in Beverly Hills with David, their house just sold for $35 million. And my first thought was, I hope that they let Andrea out, bless his heart, and just comes like crawling out of there, like, I'm here, I'm still here.
My first thought was, I bet they could have gotten another $1 million for it if that guy with selling the Little Mermaid towels had moved. The guy on the lawn.
You cannot sell that here.
This
He's
is famous
selling Little
Puss in
Mermaid
House.
towels on my front lawn. Wait, did that actually happen, or was that just a joke that we created?
No, that was something
was
that
her
happened.
thing.
There was like a
She's
guy selling like tourist stuff, but she lived on the freeway. I mean, she lived on the PCH, so he was standing selling on the PCH. She's like, "This is my backyard." No, it's the PCH. Fucking weirdo.
I feel like going back to the Yolanda seasons of Beverly Hills, we would find so much joy that we just never even realized was there with her. Like, just so much great stuff. Anyway, so Heather does this whole thing about how her favorite piece of jewelry is her original engagement ring, which isn't even that fancy of an engagement ring. And then Alexis is like, "Well, the ring that Johnny
it's
got
not
me."
fancy. It's a huge oval-shaped diamond. Oh, okay. She's like, "Oh, it's just so little. It's so sad and pathetic." It comes on the screen. It's like, "Ow!" Everyone's going, "Ow!" Like blinding.
amuse
To me,
bouche
that
to
was
the-
gorgeous. I mean, I don't know a lot about. What'd you say?
It was an amuse-bouche to the future rings.
That ring is bigger than anything I've been fed at this party. Loser.
You were saying about like how it was so huge though, regardless of her being like, "Oh, it's this humble little trinket," it was like still like a massive.
Yeah, it's like blinding. I mean, it's big. It's huge. I don't know anything about diamonds, but that looked like a big one. I don't know.
It looked big. So then Alexis is like, "Well, the ring that Johnny got me, it's not an engagement ring. It's just a sign of love." And then Shannon's like, "Oh, well, I'm just going to stab this radicchio and put it in my mouth and taste the bitter flavor of this leaf, which parallels the bitterness I feel inside my stomach right now towards John Janson."
Yeah, that's a sign of love for TV because he gave you that shit to go on Instagram and start shit so you'd get on this show. And it worked. That thirsty ass John Janson. Thirsty man. So Alexa, so they're like, so wait, so that's your promise ring? And she goes, no, it wasn't a promise ring, it was just. And Emily's like, okay, but you did hashtag promise ring though, so why would you hashtag that? I mean, I'm a lawyer, so speaking as a lawyer, like, you probably shouldn't put hashtag something, because like in a court of law that would be considered an actual hashtag. So
And Alexis goes, promised. Like, never promise ring. It says promised. I was like, but isn't that the same thing? If it has a D on the end, that makes it different, right? Promised. It could also mean promised in the eyes of the Lord.
oh God. And Katie's like, oh my God, is she really religious? Yeah. Katie, you've never watched this show. Get out of here. Don't tell me that you didn't have hours to fucking binge Orange County in your golf trailer, your fucking Golf Channel trailer. Get the fuck out of here.
You know what my religion is? Golf. You just got Katie'd. So,
So yeah, she's like, yeah, promise, like promise in the eyes of the Lord. And Gina's like, I don't even know if she's religious. Okay. Well, Gina, I believe, didn't do her homework, but Katie, I believe, did. So Katie's like, I mean, there's no difference between a promise ring and a promised ring. It's just a D, which I guess is what she's getting.
D stands for
Hold
dick.
on. Yep. It's 80% chance of windy laughter coming through those hills.
I can't help but feel like I just hit a hole-in-one with that joke. All right, D for dick. Think about it. Actually, you don't have to, because I spelled it out for you. Anyway, continue on. So Gina's like,
Wow, that's a big gift for a 2-month walk. You guys think you're gonna, you think you're gonna marry him?
and Alexis is like nodding, like,
Like after 2 months, you feel that way?
and Katie's like, wow, that's wild. I mean, I'm not marrying him tomorrow, guys. I'm just going to marry him at the time that makes Shannon feel most uncomfortable. When that day is, I'm not sure, but we'll know it when we see it.
This season is just brutal. Okay, you've got Gina coming after the lady who just got evicted, and then you've got everybody coming for Shannon, who just got publicly humiliated on so many different levels. I mean, they are horrible. They are being fucking horrible. So Shannon gets up and is like, well, I will have to excuse myself for just a moment. Please, no one follow me. I will just be excusing myself for just a moment. Promised. Promised. That's something.
Yeah, and Alexis is, while Shannon walks off, Alexis is prattling on. Like Johnny and I, we both tried to push it back as far as we could, and we ended up in the same booth at the Quiet Woman. And that was one night, and there was just like definite chemistry. What can I say, guys? Promised. So Tamara gets up, and so Tamara
John
is...
Janson going to hang out at the Quiet Woman, the famous hangout of the TV show that he still wants to be on because he hates being famous so bad, and immediately comes on to another Real Housewife.
Immediately.
Fucking so
Right.
gross. God.
So Tamara gets up because she's going to cosplay like she's still Shannon's best friend. And so she follows Shannon out to the hallway, and she's like, hi.
She's like, are you okay? She's like, yes, I mean, it's fine. It hurts, but thanks for asking the question, though. I don't know what you're trying to do, and I know you think I'm talking behind your back, Tamara. And Tamara's like, you are talking behind my back, bitch.
Oh, you're saying that I'm a horrible friend, that I've got a giant ego, that my ego needs to be shut down, that I think I'm better than everybody.
Okay, well, stop me at the part where she's gotten anything wrong.
Yeah, that too.
Well, I did say that when we were doing the Trace Amigas tour, we always have to do it around Tamara's schedules because you've got so much going on. You're a very successful lady with a podcast that's has a wordplay about pea pods, and you're walking around and you're going, thank me for the show. Thank me for the show.
I never said that, Shannon. When did I say that? I said you're lucky for me or you wouldn't have a show.
And which she did. I mean, she didn't say that, but she did. And so
Yeah.
Shannon's like,
Well, should we just sit down? I'm not going to sit here and talk with you in the hallway. She goes, no, actually, I don't want to sit down. You're not a good person, Shannon Bedore. You've done horrible things to me.
I love that the base, like Tamara comes into the season saying, you know what? Shannon says she stopped drinking, but I saw that she's still drinking. And she's like, you've done terrible things to me. You've done terrible. Which one is it?
This is Tamara. This is how Tamara rolls. I mean, it used to infuriate me, and now I just laugh because it's just so obvious what she's doing. She's the worst. Like she
no.
comes in like,
Shannon Bedore's such a stupid slut. She probably had sex with everybody and she's an alcoholic. Even the kids don't like her. Nobody likes Shannon Bedore. What a dumb slut. How could you talk behind my back, you dumb bitch?
Also, for some reason, I was really amused when Shannon goes, "I'm not going to do this here in the hallway." like,
she's about
this is
doing
not-
it.
If we're
This is
going
not
to
the
do this, we're
backdrop.
going to do this standing in front of a question wishing well machine.
A hallway. I mean, why would we ever have an iconic scene here in a hallway? We have to have either an ocean, or we can go to John Janson's house. I love his seafront property. Oh, damn it! I fall into old patterns so quickly.
So Shannon goes to talk to her makeup lady, and she's like,
Well, can you believe that Tamara just said to me that multiple people...
and Pam's like, oh God, talk about kicking someone while they're down. By the way, let's do your lipstick. Just stay still. I was like, yes. Finally, Shannon has a friend that she needs. Someone just to be paid minimum wage and do her lip gloss, while she complains about things,
Everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for coming to my event here at the Country Club. This has been really great, and I've been informed by the staff that at 4 p.m., people who are below a certain tax bracket are no longer allowed to be on the premises. So unfortunately, you will all have to leave. I shall stay, though. Goodbye.
So everyone is going to need basically what Gina came shoving her purse with to go. Okay, let's go. So congratulations, Heather. Yet another completely soulless party at given by Heather DeVroe. I've never seen someone this consistently throw soulless parties, but God, she does it every time. Good for you.
She really does. Like, there's something about... I think we've all been to them. There's certain luncheons that you've gone to in life where you can't describe the depths of its soullessness, but like you sit there and that afternoon light is sort of like penetrating, and you sit there and you're bored and you're kind of like falling asleep, but you can't fall asleep because it's a luncheon and you have to make small talk with people, and there's poached salmon on the plate. It's just kind of like the worst. It's like the worst kind of luncheon, and I feel like that's what Heather throws over and over again.
Yeah, she really loves just a basic ass boring brunch,
Like arugula,
I mean, it's a thing.
salmon.
I used to be a cater waiter, and it's a thing. People compete to see who can have the most basic, and she does great. So good for her. So then, Gina's new listing. Gina is walking. What are you laughing
She's great. She's great at her soulless luncheons. It's her thing. She's great. Good for her. I love how you just sort of like somehow like spun it into a compliment, but it was like nothing even close to a compliment.
I mean, there are people like that. I don't really understand them, but they're there, and she's one of them. So you just keep on doing whatever that is. Okay, so Gina's new listing, she's like high-fiving herself, like, I am going to sell this house. And she tells us, I think I really found my lane. And I've realized that one of the major things that you need to know about real estate is the price of the homes.
That is, you know what? That is something you should know when you're in real estate. How much things cost.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
glad
joking
she fin-
because in her season, like, she didn't know the price of the house. So she's like, isn't that hilarious? I'm like,
Oh.
yeah, I'm glad that someone else ruined your reputation of being a brilliant real estate agent when that was your big scene last year that you led with.
Yeah, you know what? I'm new to real estate, and I'm like trying to build up like my book of business, and like this is like the livelihood of like myself and my children, and like this is the roof over my head right now. And then we, after this really fascinating scene, we then cut to Shannon, Katie, and Jen doing a stair workout, and they're just going up and down, and Katie's like, my idea of exercise, my husband, late night activities. Watching the Golf Channel, really. We're just, lifting up that remote.
Yeah, okay.
Get so many reps.
She's like, I can't be the only woman in Orange County who doesn't work out. Let's wait for this. If I could drive my car to the mailbox, I would.
And by car, I mean golf cart. Let's be honest. So
Shannon's like, ladies, it's funny because I used to do the steps with John Janson, and he'd go, I'm going to sit this one out. He would just sit on a bench, and I would go up and down the stairs, making a nice buttocks for his pleasure that apparently he never wanted in the first place because I'm not Alexis Bellino. Well, oh, God. So many fun memories on this staircase.
And then Jen's like, "Oh, is that John Janson? Wow, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know him. I've seen pictures of him lately. God, he looks amazing. Doesn't he just look like he's turning back time, everybody? God, what a good looking. Do you still have his number? You should text him and say, 'My gorgeous friend thinks you are so handsome now that you broke up with my gorgeous friend.'"
Oh, well, yes. Thank you, Jen, for that unsolicited endorsement of his good looks. Yes, he has. First of all, he didn't smile with me because he didn't like his teeth at the time, but he got his teeth done, and now he smiles big because he likes to show off his big fake teeth, sort of like a wolf, like a big bad wolf.
How Shannon is that?
Well, if anybody's wondering why he never smiled with me, it was because he was insecure about his teeth. So he flirted with Vicky one night at the Quiet Woman, and she bought him a new rack, and now suddenly he's smiling all over the place. So good for John. It's so good to see John smiling. Oh, well, is that John going up the stairs? Just so he could pass me by. Well, there he goes again. He's doing great. So happy for John. So happy.
You may ask why I didn't smile as much with John, and that was purely because I was self-conscious of how my simmering resentment looked on my teeth. So that was my issue. My issue with John.
So, well, that's enough talking about me. Let's talking about you. Do you play golf, Katie? Is that something that you do? I'm so interested. I'm going to purse my lips into an open blow position and wait for you to answer.
I can't tell you how excited I am to talk about your interest in golf versus more complaints I have about John Janson. So you have the floor, or should I say the green. Golf. Top of the morning to you. Green, Ireland. I'm spiraling.
Please, let's not talk about me anymore. So, golf spelled backwards is flog, which is basically what I was every day in that relationship. Please continue, Katie.
John Janson always said, I really enjoyed that Tiger Woods. He really seems to have figured it out. I'd love, especially his relationship with his ex-wife. So I guess in retrospect, that would be a red flag. A big old red flag.
So Katie's like, "I try to golf. My husband plays golf like every day. It's our whole life. I mean, if you come to our house, all the artwork is..." Jen goes, "Wait a minute. I know this one. Is it all golf?"
It's all golf.
Oh, I knew
Because
it.
that's how we met.
Oh, gosh. How many years have you guys been married?
We just celebrated 7 in October.
7 years.
So,
Oh, 7 years. Wow,
Yeah.
that is amazing. 7 years. How many times have you been evicted?
so far, none. And we're hoping that we're on par for none in the future.
Did you say bar? Yes, let's go.
You know what? My husband's amazing. He was a travel reporter for the Golf Channel, and I was a travel reporter for a different golf network. And you know what they say when you bring 2 reporters from rival golf networks together? The chemistry is allegedly something that exists somewhere.
So she's like, "Yeah, I went into journalism because since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a weather girl." Then I was like, "That's too scary." So I went into a sports. I mean, girl, you went into sports journalism in a network that's not even the Golf Channel. I mean, have you been to Catan? Because you're basically a settler. I can't wait to meet your husband.
Well, my husband wants to give me lessons, and that will just end in divorce. God, we have so much to talk about every single day. Golf.
Well, I'm thinking I should take golf up as a single lady, as a single lady, as a single lady, as a single lady. Golfing.
Oh, Shannon, but you don't have enough going on, right? Ha 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 ha. Hey, ha, ha. Thank you for your attempt at humor, Jen. I know just enough. And Kitty goes, well, I didn't want me meeting you for the first time to be so awful like that. And I'm sorry, but it's good that we get to hang out today. And I get to know you more because that was a lot for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm just a humble woman who absorbs herself in golf all day long. So to be around all that poached salmon, it was intense, very intense.
She's like, "Yeah, like going to my first party, coming in as the green one." Anybody? That's pretty good. Right? And they're like, "So, was that your first time meeting Heather?" And she goes, "Oh, I saw Heather at Sutton's Christmas party, and she turned and stared at me, and then she looked away." I was like, okay. But it was nice when she turned back around and asked me if I had any more tuna. I didn't really understand, but I mean, it was something. So
She really looked at me like I was the bogeyman. That was golf for you. Anyone? No? Okay. Tough crowd. So Jen is like, oh, well, and how are you and Heather now? She goes,
Oh, well, oh, you're asking me? Oh, well, I don't know. I never know. I never know. It's like, what was in the wind? Which way was the wind blowing? You never know.
I was like, yes, well, wind is an important factor in golf.
Okay, Katie, I get it. I understand the golf thing. We're moving forward.
So I'm sorry, I lost some of my notes. Okay, so then we go to Shannon saying, like, what's your beef, Jen? Because Jen's like, yeah, I got into it with Gina, I was gonna talk to her at Heather's party, but time and place. And really, frankly, I don't have either of those things. I'm out of time and I don't have a place. So that was hard. And Shannon's like, what is your beef? She's like, oh, I don't have a beef. Or any beef. Do you have any beef? I don't even care if it's old. Did you know that you can eat beef a week after the expiration date? I've tried it.
You learn so much from Tiger King. So Emily is like, Emily is FaceTiming Gina, and she goes, why do you look so pretty, and why is your lighting so good? She's like,
Oh my God, well, I look pretty because I'm working. And to be honest, like, I'm actually like a little bit irritated right now.
I'm like, you don't say. You're irritated literally every scene we ever see you in.
Yeah, because her career is being ruined by Jen. Okay, it's like being ruined.
That I put Jen in that house, right? Because it's all I talk about is how I put her in that house. Well, guess what? That's having like an impact on me because I had a deal lined up and I had to get a cash buyer and I had to get a cash buyer quickly. And I knew this agent would be able to bring me a cash buyer. And guess what? I couldn't get my cash buyer. And that cost me $50,000 of cash buyer missing fees. Okay. So when that deal fell apart, like I lost money.
Okay, so she's saying she had a house that she was selling and they wanted a cash buyer, and the only realtor who knew people that wanted to buy things with cash wouldn't text Gina back, so now that's Jen's fault. Gina, you're so bad at this. Like, I don't you're so bad at this. That doesn't even make sense. You're as good of a realtor as you are a housewife.
Yeah, I feel like this feels tenuous at best. And Emily's like, wow, if I put you in that position, I'd be mortified. Jen ruined your reputation. I'm like, I think maybe being on Real Housewives of Orange County kind of ruined your reputation, but that's fine. Blame it on Jen.
I think the scenes with Gina saying, I'm an Italian, and then opening ragu sauce to make dinner for her kids did enough.
Yes.
So, deep ragu cut, guys.
Yeah, I liked it.
Hold back. Let's take a moment. Okay, so then we cut back, and Jen's like, yeah, well, I rented that house, and she found the house. I mean, I told you all this, and then we got evicted, which is terrible. But, also I have to say, thank you, eviction. Thank you so much. I've learned so much. I can't really tell you what it is yet, but I'm sure it's something, and I'm sure it's going to bring us all closer together. So, thank you.
You know what? I get it. We're all in the same circle. I get it. We're all talking. But, like, as an agent who helped me get in the house, why are you running around talking about shit that's going on? Which I think is actually kind of a fair point. That is kind of shitty, I mean, Jen's also talking about the eviction a lot, but Gina is...
It's her story. Gina is the professional, shouldn't be running around being, oh, my God, she's the worst client. She didn't pay. Blah. I mean, it's just tacky. It's so I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised. I'm actually not surprised, but I've said it a million times this episode. I don't need to roll around in it, do I, Bam? You know me.
So Gina's like, well, I don't even know where she's living right now. And Emily's like, well, she can't rent somewhere in Orange County. They're going to ask for credit and they're going to want financial statements. And I mean, she is beyond that.
Unlike the rest of the world where no one needs credit or financial statements. So Gina's like, oh, wait, what do you think she's going to do? Move in with Ryan? She's, that's her only option. I mean, I assume she's going to move in with Ryan because, like, what other options does she have, It's like when I finally married Shane. It's like the last thing available on the menu.
When you get proposed to over G-Chat, sometimes you say, what other option do I have at this point?
Listen, people can say whatever they want about me and Shane, but we outlasted G-Chat.
Like, I know where she could move into. How about Travis? I think Travis has an opening coming up. So now we go back to the beach, and Katie's like, so have you moved in with Ryan?
Travis loves packing kids into tiny 2 bedrooms. I'm sure he's got one somewhere that he could shove another 5 kids into.
Yeah. So Katie is like, so what does Ryan do for a living? Like, what does he do? Is it golf oriented? Because otherwise I really don't care. And Jen's like, well, thank you for the question so much. He did mortgage for years and years. And, he's done real estate development since then, but like nothing like, there's like no office and no actual job stuff. He seems to like go into a dark alley a lot. He seems to be going to Dodger Stadium quite a bit, but I think he just really likes baseball. So yeah, that's what he's up to.
I mean, there's no office. There's nothing really. I mean, he just kind of. I feel like he just sits around and like plays in the sunshine. He kind of lives a dream life, really. I always tell him. And Katie's like, oh, that's nice. Because it is so nice. Having a man who does nothing but just has money to get a new pair of plugs every week. I mean, it's really something. Not a red flag at all. This is so great. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Glad. I'm so glad that I moved away from Will and now fully independent, moving in with a guy who will support me even though he doesn't seem to have any job and just plays around in the sunshine.
Basically moved from
Nothing
will.
could go wrong.
Moved on from will to won't, and I'm very happy. Very, very happy. So.
Listen, I do not shame someone for being like, you know what? He's going to take care of me. But what I do shame someone for is having someone take care of you who you say, oh, he seems to be sitting around and playing in the sunshine. I'm like, if you're going to go for someone to take care of your bills, get someone who like has to show up at an office or something, has to like log in, has to, like
if you are going to leave your husband, the least you could do is run a 1999 background check on somebody. You know what I mean? Like, spend the $20 for Christ's sake.
Listen, I don't mind her leaving the husband. You can leave the husband for free. I'm just saying, like, if, hopefully you learned lessons from that situation with Will. And I'm just saying, just make sure he has a job. Just make sure you know where the money's coming from.
Preparation.
Just know where the money is coming from before you move in with 5 children.
So then back to Gina. Gina's like, oh my God, you know where she's going to go? I can tell you where she needs to go, to work. She's got to go to work. And Emily's like, no, she's not going to do that because that would mess up her gym schedule. Oh.
I have a sincere question. When shit went down for Gina, what did she do for work? This is not like she didn't work, but like what was she doing when she first
I think she was just cobbling to get, from what I remember, she was cobbling. She's on Housewives, so that's obviously some work. And then she was getting stuff, support or whatever from Matt, but I don't think she immediately got a job. I mean, it takes a while to study and get your real estate license and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, the thing that really sucks about all of this is that what Gina has accomplished in the past few years really is cool. I mean, she came from a terrible situation and she turned it around. She got her shit together. She learned something brand new. She's taking care of all these kids in a tiny apartment. She's doing really a good job. It's just a shame to see her be such an asshole to someone who's like literally on the floor losing everything when she should know better. Like, she should know what that's like. It's just gross.
Yeah, it is really gross. And then Emily's like, you would do anything. You would swing on a pole if it meant you had to put food on a table for your kids. You know that if Jen swung on a pole, Gina would be like,
that's how she's gonna support her kids? I mean, get a real job. Like, don't take off your clothes to support your kids.
like, that Gina would say that.
They all would. So Gina's like, I understand and I'm sympathetic to what Jen is going through, but it's like one thing to like burn me as a friend, but you take food off my kid's plate, and that's a problem. Not take food off your kid's plate. Did you have to give back the 10% or whatever you made off that rental fee? Give me a fucking break. Yeah. So Emily's like, anyway, they just get off the phone. So now we go to Katie's house for the Katie scene. It's Katie's first family scene. Let's see what she's up to.
Well, her husband Matt is playing soccer with their kid Bandon, which is already a little bit off-brand. Talk about off-brandon, because it's not golf. And her daughter, Callie's 19, and Kaylee is like putting on makeup or something, or doing her nails or whatever. And Katie talks about how her name was Katie Fletcher growing up. I mean, it was like the whitest Catholic name ever. I always remember knowing that I was adopted. My parents could not have children. And she tells the whole story about how she was adopted from Korea, but she grew up with like no connection to her culture. And she was like, a year later I was FedExed over here and here I am.
And she talks about how she didn't grow up knowing anything Korean and no Korean food, nothing. But then her daughter really took interest in her Korean roots. And so she's basically teaching her. She's like, Mom, this is Korean food. This is a Korean restaurant. This is how you order. And she's like, and I taught her golf. So, and then they say they have one son together. Oh no, I'm sorry. We already read all that stuff.
Well, no, they
So
do.
basically, it's basically that. It's cute. It's like a get to know me scene. Kaylee has a biological father that left, and so she's embracing this guy as her forever dad or whatever.
It seems like I feel like there's more going on with like this ex. She has a son who lives full time in Atlanta with the dad, and then Kaylee feels like she doesn't have a father, and so she's adopted kind of Matt, not officially, but she feels like she's adopted by Matt as like her father. So I think there's more story there that I'm sure we're gonna find out about. And then Katie says like, I gave birth to Callie. I was on my 20th birthday, and I said yes, I beat teenage pregnancy. So that's all I really needed, and the rest has just been whatever.
I'm bored, honestly. I got bored in the scene because it's a family scene. I get bored in the family scenes. Even reading the notes, I'm like, why is this still going on? Do you want to say anything else about this scene before
No,
it's said and done?
it was just a perfunctory. Let's meet Katie's family and see who the players are, and now we shall go forward.
Yeah, they seem fine. So then Shannon and Emily are talking about flag football. I'm like, oh, isn't it going to be fun? It's not going to be fun because, like, over the summer, I played flag football with Annabelle, and she was so good. It was so much fun, and I thought, we should all play it together. Whoop, I'm going to bring a turkey sandwich in my purse. I'm so relatable.
So Emily and Shannon and Gina, like, they practice football, catching ball, throwing balls. It's funny how we're having... Look at all the fun I am having. I mean, God, John Janson, who? I mean, who? I'm like a regular Brett Goldfarb. What's his name? I'm like Farfignugan. How? I'm Elijah Manning. Sports.
So Shannon's like, well, who's all going? And she's like, well, I invited everyone. And then I needed to invite some other friends because otherwise it's not a big enough team. So, like you want to have enough people. So, fill in the blanks. She's like, oh, God, does that mean Alexis is going? Yeah. I love nothing more than to build you up and then undermine you and tear you down the rest of the season, Shannon. I mean, come on. What are you asking me not to play my favorite sport?
And Gina goes, you know what? I didn't really feel like she was really nice or easy to talk to. And they cut to this one clip so quickly where Gina is sticking up for Shannon a little bit, and she basically is like, she's what was the context of this?
She says something like, well, everybody's always sticking up for John. And Alexis says, well, maybe that's because he's a good fucking guy, Gina. And
it just cuts away from it. But just the way Alexis turned so evil in that moment cracked me up.
And she's like, honestly, I'm just trying to warn her. The instances that I've had with John, they made me uncomfortable because, like, I could hear him. He's aggressive. And then it cuts to the scene last year where Shannon's crying about Gina being mean to her and John being like, fuck Gina. Who the fuck is Gina?
Yeah. They keep trotting that out. Although every time he says it, I kind of chuckle a little bit. So then...
and then we cut back and Shannon goes,
oh, yeah, I remember that. Well, he hadn't eaten.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So I'm not with John anymore. Listen, I'm not making John dinner anymore, but I'm still making him excuses. Okay, baby steps.
Well, he hadn't eaten on account of the fact that he was afraid to open his mouth and show his pebble-like teeth. So Gina's like, well,
I didn't know that I had to travel around with a snack pack to hand out to grown men so they don't tell me to fuck off. Alexis, you better make sure that dinner's on the table at 5 o'clock on the dot, honey, because he's like a gremlin. You gotta feed them and water them, otherwise they get fucking evil.
Actually, if you water a gremlin,
that's not how gremlins
Gina,
work.
like seriously, you can't even make a gremlin joke. Like I can't with her. So she's like, well, I think you should be really proud of the way you handled yourself at that party, Shannon. Which I agree, and I'm impressed that Shannon actually held it together like that. And she's like,
Well, I feel so bad. I mean, I got a DUI, and I went to the place, and there were a couple nights that I was freaking out. Sure, I thought my life was over, and on those nights, I did drink a lot. I mean, when I say a couple, Monday through Sunday, but still, then I went to that place, whatever it was, and now I'm great. Look at me now.
Obviously I sympathize with her, and sometimes it takes perspective to make people change their own perspective, unless it's Jen, in which case, fuck her.
So then we see Shannon saying, look, you're a good mom and you're a responsible person, and I always thought I was that way too, and now I understand what you went through when you got your DUI, and like I'm sorry I wasn't totally there for you, which is like, wow. And both Gina and Emily are like, wow, good job, Shannon. Look at you being a nice human being to people. Wow.
Yeah, Shannon, good for you.
Yeah. And Gina's basically like, she was always like an open book of bullshit. And now she's like willing to like, look at the things that she didn't want to look at. And, she's basically saying like, this is the first time that Shannon's been honest ever.
Oh, okay. Basically, Gina's like, well, I was going to try and sidle up to Alexis, but she's horrible. And Tamara's still vile. And the only people left are the golf girl and this chick. So
here we are.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, elsewhere in Orange County, Tamara and Eddie, we know it's a Tamara and Eddie scene because we see like motorcycles on the highway. And it's like get flashbacks to last season when Tamara made her triumphant return on a motorcycle, and she's like,
born to be bad, bitch. Born to be bad, bitch.
Yeah. So she's on the motorcycle with Eddie. They get to like a little like a motorcycle, like a biker hut where you get burgers and stuff. Then you go biking again.
Yeah.
What do they call those types of places?
I don't know. I didn't listen. I wasn't listening, to be honest. I was scrolling notes, reading through a Tamara scene, like, Big Bear, Ryan's got a new girlfriend, food arrives. Okay, so Tamara's like,
Since cut fitness class, Eddie's long-term plan is to meet the Big Bear full time. I can't wait to be a mountain woman. It's gonna be so great. I'm gonna be like, hey, you want a piece of me, Bear? Get over here, Bear, you dumb bitch. Nobody likes you, Bear. You drunk alcoholic, Bear. Go away, Bear.
but you just see a bear running away, crying, like,
So I had a great time at Heather's party. It was great seeing everybody, bitch.
And Eddie's like, even Shannon.
She's like, I have too much anger in me. He's like, why are you so angry, babe? Because I think where my anger lies has nothing to do with Trace and Mika stuff. It really doesn't. It's just that I really thought she was going to get help. It's frustrating to me because she's lying to everybody, Oh, I'm sober. Oh, I haven't had a drink. Oh, I'm just going to have 2 drinks. Oh, I don't have a drinking problem.
and he's like, it doesn't sound like this is rock bottom to her, so don't take it personal, because it's not your problem, it's her problem. And at the end of the day, if I'm standing on a road with a flag in my hand, it's gonna say David Vidor. I love you, David Vidor. I still can't believe she did that to David Vidor. Also, I forgot to mention, in that other episode that I was accidentally watching for a half an hour, that was the one that Eddie was like, yeah, I love Eddie Bedore. I mean, I love David Bedore. He was the only good thing in that marriage, David Bedore.
Eddie is actually correct in this point, which is like, this is not your problem. Like, why is Tamara crying about this? This is Tamara trying to take on the problems. That way she can have a beef with Shannon.
Yeah. So she's like,
I care about her. I'll be there in a heartbeat if she reaches out to me, and then I'll take her hand and I'll slap it and I'll say, stupid alcoholic.
And she's like, I just cannot deal with the day-to-day with her anymore. It's like too stressful for me. Because, Jen's not surprisingly going through a lot of shit. I told you a little bit of that. She's getting evicted, bitch. Don't you know that?
And so now, I forget that Tamara and Jen used to be close friends. So here she is ready to pile on to Jen about her eviction.
Yeah. So then she's like,
You know what you gotta do? You gotta put on your big girl panties, because you're in the same position you were with your ex-husband now.
and he's like, well, isn't that common? She goes,
Yeah, but she's got a pattern.
and she's saying,
You know, like she lives with Ryan, but she doesn't have income. Like, where's she gonna go? You know, she's gonna have to go back to Oklahoma.
Well, Jen's a hard worker, and when she sets her mind to doing something, she sets her mind to doing something. I don't know if she'll do it, but she thinks about it. And what's going on in her life is probably derailing all that and making her look like she can't figure out anything in life.
so she's like, is Ryan the one pulling her down? He's like, yeah, always. I mean, if you surround yourself with a bunch of liars, you're going to be a liar. Oh, okay. Is that where you sit on trash cans at night and like hiss at people coming near, sir? I don't think anyone who hangs out with Tamara is allowed to judge, like use the whole "you are the company you keep"
Right? Yeah.
bullshit.
So now we're over at Ryan's house. Jen and the family have moved in, and she's talking about how it's been an adjustment and that she invited her parents to come out to help with the transition for the kids and everything. And she just feels like, it's just like kids don't feel comfortable yet. They feel like they're still in someone else's house. So they're all sort of like there in the kitchen.
The kids are fucking loving this, by the way.
They are.
Can I just say Jen's so full of shit? Because we get to Ryan's house and it's gorgeous. It is stunning. It is a beautiful house. It's like dripping with money. There's multiple garages. There's dirt bikes. There's all this shit. There's all these toys that the kids are fucking loving this. Are you kidding? It's like, I think I'm gonna like it here. She's like, my poor kids. They just don't know what to do.
Talk about rags to riches. So, I guess that was on the Love Island recap. So Jen's talking to her mom and dad, Mimi and Pap, and they're like, well, Mimi's like, well, I think that Ryan's really bonded with your kids, and Pap's like, yeah, it's a huge commitment. And it's like, well, I appreciate Ryan. Yeah, we couldn't be happier. And Jen's like, I feel like, Ryan, you and I keep saying, at 46. You shouldn't have to keep taking care of me the way you have to take care of me. And I'm just so sorry, Dad. It's like her Oklahoma accent. Like as soon as she starts to cry in front of her parents, her Oklahoma accent just tumbles out, and she goes from being like, "Thank you so much. Oh, you're taking care of me, Dad. Thank you so much, Dad."
Yeah, and they're like, honey, we love you. We'd do anything for you. I mean, would you? Because she just got evicted. So I'm going to need some more money coming out of that purse. All right, criers. So they hug her and they're like, I'd dig a ditch for you, but I ain't cleaning up your dog poop.
Oh, Ma, thank you.
So then we go over to Heather and Shannon, and this is like a Heather, like, look at me, one of the funny, hilarious people of the world. And they're meeting, and Heather's approaching in slow-mo. She's like, my coat is my purse. Shannon's like, oh, okay, well, I might need the coat. Okay, can I have this heater moved so close to me that I'm practically on fire? That was called a joke. And hilarity. Did anybody here order hilarity? It just got to your table sooner than you expected.
For some reason, viewers of television believe that I am somehow a demon from the pits of hell. Anyway, can we have the fire surround me? I would like to be surrounded by flames for this entire scene. Thank you. She literally has flames shooting from all angles around her during this entire scene. I was cracking up.
And they're trying to do this whole, like, aren't we just old friends? Look at us, like making fire jokes, and then fire trucks pass. And she goes, oh, yeah, one of us is going to be lit on fire today, so you might need to come back, fire trucks. Watch your weave, Shannon. Remember that one? And then we see a clip of Shannon arguing with somebody and her weave getting caught on fire. And they're like, oh, ha, 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 ah, ha, ha, oh, ha, ha, ah.
All right, let me put down my purse, which is actually my jacket today. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, I was really glad you came to the party, and I know it was a lot to walk into, and that could not have been easy. There were appetizers everywhere. It's difficult, I understand. So I wanted to see how you were. I thought some of the talk was inappropriate. And then it cuts to Alexis being like, well, I don't want to kiss and tell, but yeah, we've had sex twice today.
Vile. And Shannon's like,
I just hope that at some point the people that I've been close to for years will say, we understand that this is too much for you, Shannon.
she goes, oh, so I mean, are we just not supposed to invite her to anything? Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. If if what's his buns, Terry, dumped you and his new girlfriend started showing up in the group, I don't think you'd be okay with that, ma'am.
No,
I mean, I know
definitely
your
not.
relationship with Terry is a little different because it's been longer and you have kids and stuff, but still,
Still.
no one's going to be like, "Oh, I'm so excited that you're bringing my ex's new girlfriend around." Come on.
Well, I wouldn't do that, but that's just me. You know, it hurts my feelings that Heather is still somehow defending Alexis.
I mean, truthfully, I've spoken to Alexis a lot more in the last year than I've spoken to Shannon. So, Heather's like, did you say to Tamara before the reunion, we need to take Heather down? Could you just answer that for me? Because I really want to know.
No, no. I was angry with you.
Why were you angry with me, Shannon? Oh, right. Because you say I was talking about your relationship. Well, don't you know I wasn't now? Even stuff that I thought was in our vault, I never repeated that stuff. Never. I mean, not that they were so salacious, but just private things that you told me. I've always kept your confidence. I've always kept your confidence. I don't believe that for 2 seconds. But then also, if you knew that Tamara was out lying about you, then why are you still so close with Tamara? I mean, pick a lane.
Well, Tamara told me that you were the one, and at this point, I mean, I just like I've had it all the way up to here. Like my forehead is actually at my forehead. I mean, my hand is at my forehead. My hand, it's actually up here. My hand is actually above the forehead. It's very high up there, and I think this counts as cardio. This is good.
Shannon, I've always been straight with you. Remember when I tried to get you put into that mental ward?
Well, I'm apologizing.
It's like, I don't need an apology. You know what I want to hear from you? All I want to hear from you is that you trust who I am and what I say to you, and that we can have a friendship. I am the person who just invited your ex's new girlfriend to a party to make sex jokes about your ex right in front of you all day long and never said a thing. That's who I am, Shannon. Like, what is your holier than thou like? I just want you to know that I'm a good person. You're an asshole. You just totally played an asshole move on her. What are you talking about?
Heather, I can't help but notice that your eyeballs are actually red and reflecting the flames that surround your face right now.
There are so many flames coming out of you. There's a little girl turning behind and looking at the camera and smirking.
I'm feeling a little uneasy right now, but I also feel like I'm succumbing to some sort of primitive spell that's taking over my body. Zool!
So we get another scene of Shannon being like,
Well, I'm hopeful for our friendship.
and Heather being like, I've always liked Shannon. I just hope that we can have a strong friendship. Like, oh, okay. All right,
And
have
then
fun
she's
tearing
like-
each other down the rest of the season because Shannon and Katie are going to team up against your ass, and I'm going to root for them the whole time.
Well, now that we are friends again, are you ready for some football?
And Heather goes, oh, yes, I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I am a Swift person, a Swifties person. I know football now.
Oh, hold on one moment. I'm trying to understand why the correlation. Travis Kelsey. I get it. Oh God, that was. Oh, I don't totally know what I'm laughing about, but I feel like it's a time for me to joke and laugh because I have a new friend.
And just
Encapsulated by flames.
this read from Heather was so obvious. Okay, are you ready for some football? I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I know football now. Thank you, gays. Worth every penny, gays.
So now it's Gina, Emily, and Katie are meeting up. I don't even remember what this is.
Watch out, world.
Where are they? Gina.
Watch
Oh yeah, they're at the deck. Oh yeah. This is the deck is slowly rising as one of those places on Real Housewives shows. We just we were interviewed for an article that's coming out soon about like locations that are famous on the Real Housewives, and I have to say the deck is it's in a lot of scenes on this show.
Well, congrats, Deck. You're making it. So Katie's telling them, "Oh, I met up with Shannon and Jen was talking about moving." And Gina's like,
Oh, yeah, her moving.
She goes, "Yeah, she's moving in with Ryan. You know, she just did." She goes,
Oh, well, I see. I didn't even know where she was living, so what would I know? Why would she tell me? I mean, just after she started my career on fire and kicked my children in their nuts, every single one of them, their private parts cut their throats, basically told them you're never eating again. Well, I'm glad that she made it somewhere. I'm glad that she's living somewhere. I sure didn't know about it.
Well, ladies, let me tell you something. It's funny. She said that Emily mentioned it to me. And how did Emily know? Oh, well, I figured that shit out. It does not take a genius, okay? She did not tell me. I learned it by talking to Gina. Wait.
"Yeah, but we just watched Gina going up to everybody." laughing like she just got evicted. Didn't she wasn't she telling Katie? I mean, come on.
So Gina's like, you know what? It was on Instagram, and I brokered the deal. I dropped everything. I dropped all of the nothing I was doing to get her into that home. And if her concern right now is the fact that I'm telling people, that's ridiculous. Her concern should be about how she's going to pay her fucking rent.
What did you drop to get her into that house? She's so ridiculous. So
What lean
and Emily
cuisine
goes,
box did you drop on the kitchen floor to get this deal done?
give me a fucking break. And Emily's like, yeah, under car payment. And Katie's like, you know what I said to her? That's so awkward because I said, I like your car. She goes, oh, well, you should go take a photo because that bitch is about to be gone.
I actually laughed at that. I laughed at that because it's kind of true. So Gina's like,
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? Like, I'm talking to my friend because Emily was concerned for me and all this, and that, like, really bugs me, okay? Because, like, Jen needs to be focusing on how she's going to take care of her children and herself, not on who is, like, trying to assign blame for her own problems.
well, yeah, you know what? She probably does need to focus on her children and herself and getting like her income in. And the last thing she needs is an alleged friend talking all this shit about like how she's so shitty for being evicted.
Well, if she comes from my career, I will fuck her up. You're doing great. I'm sure you're really building your reputation right now. If I was moving to Orange County, I'd be like, I really want this unhinged lady in terrible clothes rubbing me. Like, I'm sure she understands contracts.
If she gets me kicked off of Pillow, I'll be so mad.
Don't you mean Zillow? No, I'm not on Zillow yet. I'm just working my way through Pillow, and then I have a lot to lose here.
So Gina's like, oh God, I can't even look at her. I can't even look at her. Like I can tell that she's got on very nice new clothes. She's got on glam. And honestly, it's like a slap in my face. Because now Gina and Jen go to this cafe to have a talk. So she's like, she's in glam. And honestly, that's a slap in my fucking face. At least look like you're on Hard Times, bitch. I was like, is that what you've been doing?
So Jen comes in like, hi, hi, hi. So they sit down and, they're like having some pleasantries. And Jen's like, well, there's just like a lot going on. But I mean, I wanted to get together with you because I'm like, wait, what the fuck did I do to Gina? And she goes,
Well, I'm not particularly happy about this situation, Jen, that we're in here.
and she goes, well, but do you honestly think, Gina, I moved into that house and thought to myself, I'll just motherfuck Gina and I'll just I'll go in on a whim and see if I can make rent.
No, I don't think you think about these things at all.
Yeah, I didn't think that you thought that. I don't think you even thought, like, wow, it's a possibility that I could completely be cut off from my husband. My husband could lose his job and I wouldn't be able to pay my, like, what an idiot. You're so stupid. Gina's such an, and Jen's like, well, that's bullshit. She goes, when you sign a contract, you have to follow that contract, and you did not pay your rent. And you know what? Like, this is my brand new career, Jen, and you can tell I'm doing really well because I'm wearing a train conductor hat today, Jen. Okay, so you want to take my train conductor hat away before I can gift it to my children? I dare you. I dare you to take a train conductor hat from my children's heads.
she's wearing Megan King Edmonds' hand-me-down train conductor hat from that one episode. So Gina's like, I didn't run my mouth about your personal things. She goes,
Well, then how does Emily know?
I'm sorry. Gina said, I didn't run my mouth about your personal thing. And she goes, well, how does Emily know about it?
Well, do you know how I knew you were evicted? Instagram. I went out of my way to help you, and you burned me.
I'm like, you didn't learn from Instagram. You told us last week that you learned it because you were CC'd on lots of emails and texts about like the eviction.
Right. I guess her point is you wouldn't even call me to tell me. Like,
Right.
I saw it on Instagram before you called me. And Jen's like, I didn't burn you. And she's like, yeah. And the fact that you sit there, Jen, and you have this attitude is pathetic. And she's like, well, that's shitty. And she's like, you need to grow up. You need to pay your bills. You need to figure out how to take care of yourself and your children.
Wow, that's like very shitty. Thank you so much.
Gina's like, you know what? It's not your ex-husband's responsibility.
Yeah, but like if they have an arrangement, if they have an
It is his
arrangement, and especially if he
responsibility.
if he has support that he has to pay, I'm not sure what the details are. But what I'm gathering, unless I've forgotten a detail from last week, what I'm gathering is that this guy was paying for their house, and then he fell behind because he hit hard times, and then like all of a sudden he wasn't telling her that he wasn't paying his bills. And so he was like welching on his end of the deal. And the fact that Gina has no sympathy of like the fact that this shitty situation, I feel like happens to women all the time, where suddenly the women are hung out to dry because of men's crappy ass behavior. And like the fact that Gina has no sympathy for this, I think is really important. Assuming I got the situation correct. I may have it totally
No,
wrong.
that's what they said it is. Yeah, that he lost his money because he lost his job with her parents, and that he fell behind in rent, and now they're fucked, basically. So yeah, it's pretty gross. So Jen's like, you are really fucking. She goes, it's not your ex-husband's responsibility. Yeah, it is, and it's not your boyfriend's responsibility. And she goes, God, you're really shitty. She goes, I'm upset, because you called me and I helped you. And she goes, yeah, well, you're not the only one upset with me getting evicted, Gina. I'm the one who got evicted. She goes, oh yeah, well, you want to know something else? Because I don't think you get it. Because I understand you don't get these things. She goes, oh, now I don't get these things. So you're saying I don't know anything? She goes, no. Do you know about this? And she goes, you know what, Gina? I know that my 5 fucking kids are. What's that?
They're having this fight, and right in the middle of this, the waitress comes by with a coffee, like, here's your
She's like,
latte.
yeah. She just drops it and like backs away.
So yeah, Gina's like, do you know about this? Do you know about this? And Jen's like, no, Gina, I do know. I do know that like me and my 5 fucking kids were on the line, and 48 hours we had to leave. She goes, yeah, but you don't even want to talk because like you don't even want.
You won't even let me talk. Gina, you sit down and you start screaming at someone who's going probably through the hardest thing in their life and calling them all sorts of names and saying that they're not taking care of their children, and then she won't let you continue to yell at her without interrupting you with like a slight 1 or 2 words every once in a while. And now you're going to scream that she's not listening to you. Get her off the show. She's terrible. She's never been fun. She's never been good at anything. Get her off. Take her off of the show.
What makes Gina think that this is somehow going to improve her real estate career? Like this is going to make clients want to work with this woman who's berating a client. A client who's like going through something that's like, embarrassing and tough and hard and scary. And Gina's thing is like, yeah, but you know what though? My reputation. She's hurting my reputation. Well, then build back up your reputation. You're sitting here, you want her to build back up her money. Why don't you build back up your fucking reputation? If you're all about like some bootstrap mentality that you seem to be into, why don't you live those words too?
And she's like, you don't get it, and I get that, And yeah, you know what? You really need to wake up, Jen, because you're not paying your rent. You're getting your hair and your makeup done. Why aren't you paying your rent? You're getting your threads done. Why aren't you paying your rent? You're at the gym every day, and why aren't you teaching yoga class, like outdoor yoga classes or whatever? And she's like, I teach my ass off. She goes, yeah, at outdoor yoga class. Oh, okay.
She's like, you don't even fucking know what I'm doing to try to bust my ass, Gina. She goes,
well, I know that you're not paying your rent, Jen, and that put me in a bad situation.
like I I can't believe it. Like again, I will allow Gina to be annoyed, but like
no, Gina sucks. Like I'm done with her. Like she's the worst.
Any kind of sympathy or empathy when she herself has gone through hard times and she has benefited from the grace of her castmates for years now, and she has often been like, it's just so hard. What I'm going through is so hard, and I feel bad because I'm burdening everyone all the time. And yet here's someone, now it's her time to pay it forward, and she is being so nasty about it.
Well, at least Jen gets one good thing in there, because she goes, are you fucking kidding me, Gina? Just because my life is falling apart doesn't mean my hair has to fall apart like yours did.
Yes, and they show a photo of Gina's
picture.
Bleached
Gina,
hair day,
which it could have really been from any season, but
yeah, I'm about to say her hair this season is not that different from that season. No. So Gina's like, I had a deal set up, and I needed to reach out to this agent in order to access the buyers that she has. Jen, this is real. I'm like, she's evicted. She has to live with Ryan now. That's not real.
Yeah. So she's like, I can't believe it's a woman. I'm sitting across from you, and you won't even let me talk. As a woman.
Like, what's crazy is like we have these notes here that are written down, and we can see literally how much that Gina has said and how little Jen has said, and that Gina now is like, oh my God, you're not even gonna let me talk. You're not even gonna let me berate you about the fact that you've been evicted, and that yet 46 you have to have other people take care of you, and how embarrassing that is for you. You're not even letting me embarrass you more for your embarrassment.
So she stands up and she screams at the producer. She won't even let me talk. She's a joke. And Jen's like, oh, you're a fucking joke. And she's like, yeah, if you want to do this weird shit, I'm not doing it, Jen. So she goes out and like storms out and is having a diva fit. And she's like, Jen is a ding dong. Okay, you're pathetic, Jen. Take care of your fucking self and your kids or drown. But don't fucking run me over with your bullshit.
I've lost respect for Jen. Her inability to even see how this has affected me has told me everything I need to know about her, which is mostly that she's stupid.
She's getting evicted.
Yeah, Gina.
I mean, I actually would love to go back to the Lynn Curtin season and see what the women's reactions were to Lynn Curtin being evicted and compare it to Gina, because This is just, I think it's just so tasteless. It's so obnoxious.
You know, and you see how everybody else, it's not like we've already gone over this a million times, but it's not like everybody else is being so sensitive to this, you know what I mean? And it's just Gina. It's just that everyone else is kind of funny, and they have like a way of pulling it off, and Gina's just trash. She's a trashy person. She's not funny. She's got no sense of humor. She's got no like gravitas about her. I cannot believe she's still on the fucking show. I mean, someone shaming someone else for getting charity is crazy, because that's everything that Gina's had for the past 5 years. I can't believe, or 7. How long has she been on this show? It's a long time. It
feels like
now.
an eternity. And you know what? Gina was so furious about being shamed for living in a condo or a 2-bedroom house. Whatever. She was furious about that. And here she is shaming someone for being evicted and not getting their act together. You know, like, well, listen, we're often the first people to be like, get a job, get a job. But like in this case, I think that Gina, the context of what her relationship is to Jen and how her relationship should be and what I think would be expected of a friendship, I think is so vile. Like this was actually the first time that I think that we've always been like, oh, Gina's an asshole. But this is the first time where Gina, I feel like, was really just being like nasty. That was shocking to me.
Yeah, she's gross.
You know what's not
Done
gross?
with her.
You know what's not gross? Podcasting. Thanks everyone for being here. We appreciate you. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Hope you all enjoy some Love Island finale, or for one of you, perhaps the Golf Channel. And we will catch you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.